What's up, y'all? Come on in. Come on in. Hey, twin. Well, I can't see it. I'm looking for my. All right, so we're going to be talking about Jelani Day. I'm not going to be on here real long, but I will be on here a little bit just so we can discuss a lot of things, some red flags, some inconsistency. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so we need to discuss some things. Okay, some things that I observed, some things that I pointed out that I want us to talk about because, like I said, I did my own research about things they stated in that article. Hey, Natasha, baby. Yes, your girl did her own research. With that being said, hey, Natasha, honey. With that being said, we're gonna talk about what I see as a red flag and an inconsistency in things that don't add up. Okay. First off, let me say this. I had a hey Kristen, it seemed like I have a whoever this person was, felt some type of way about my nose ring. So let me just tell you this. If you have a problem with anything that you see, just click off. Don't comment to tell me that you don't like my nose ring because it ain't going nowhere. Okay? I'm just saying, don't comment and tell me no bullshit because your girl's gonna let you know I don't give a fuck. Okay? I don't give a fuck. So if you don't like my nose ring, if you think it's a desecration, don't look at it. Don't watch it. Just click off. Okay? But yeah. And was trying to tell my other subscribers and stuff, y'all not gonna like this comment because what I'm saying is true. What? This is the true crime sector, okay? If you worried about a nose ring and not true crime, then you in the wrong area, sweetie. You in the wrong place, okay? I'm just letting you know. So go find the nose ring sector of YouTube and you go check that out, okay? Just a little quick PSA. Go check out the nose ring sector, okay? But over here, we talk about true crime. And whatever I choose to do is what I choose to do. If I got a nose ring, I got a nose ring. If I got tattoos all over my body, that's what I like. That's what I do. You got a problem with it, click off. Okay? Period. This is true crime. What I look like shouldn't mean nothing. You should be worrying about what I'm talking about, what I'm bringing to the table, my cases. That's what you should be worried about, not what I look like. Not my piercings, not my face. I'm just saying, get it together, honey. Get it together, whatever your name was. Hey, Wanderlust. Hey, J Star. Okay, so somebody mentioned something about the professor twin. Okay, professor suspect. Yes, the professor moved real funny. Has moved real funny from the beginning. The professor has moved very, very funny. Yeah, I don't like the way she moving. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist. I really don't, you guys. But this does not sound right. Okay? This does not sound right at all with what they're telling us. And he was found in 10 to 12 days. Okay? With that being said, what they describing his body, it doesn't sound like damage from the river. Okay? And that's just what I came up with my research and what I've learned. And I'm going to explain why it don't add up, why it don't make sense, because it does not add up with what they say happens to a decomposing body in the water. It does not add up with the length of time Jelani was in the water. Does not add up. It does not make sense. And I'm not convinced. Now, from what I'm thinking happened to him, this was some people that know they stuff. This is some people that know what they're doing. This is some stuff. Yes, trigger warning. Yes, trigger warning. It's going to be very, I wouldn't say vulgar, because it's life. Yeah, we're just going to say trigger warning. Okay? We're going to say that. So not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it sounds like, well, we know he didn't get in the river by accident. We know he didn't get in the river by accident. On top of him not being in the river by accident, whoever put him there, which I believe is more than one person, as well as his mother, as well as his mom, believe it's more than one person. They know they stuff. They know what the river can do to you. They knew to undress him. They knew to remove his license plate. They knew to take his phone. They knew they stuff. This is experienced people. It almost sounds like people that knows anatomy, people that's in the law enforcement. Okay, that's what it sounds like to me. Okay. Because you would have to have experience or knowledge of what aquatic creatures do to your body when you're in the water, of how long. They knew it was going to be a hard time. Hey, Hawkeye, baby. They knew it was going to be a while for him to be found. They knew they couldn't drop him off in Bloomington, in the river there. They took him all the way 60 miles away. Why? Because it will be hard for you to find him. Hi, MC, baby. Yes. So they took him 60 miles away to discard him. Okay. That will give them time for the river to do whatever it needs to do to his body. Okay. They didn't even expect him to be found in those 10 days. Okay. But he was. But they expected him to have a lot of damage to his body. And I believe that's why, in my opinion, they drove him 60 miles out, deserted his car, and threw him in 60 miles out. Because people cannot, they would be looking for him in Bloomington, right? They wouldn't be looking for him in another city that he's never been to and doesn't live at, right? They wouldn't look for him there. Okay. So yeah, they took him further away and discarded him because they knew what they was doing. Okay. And that's just my opinion. Smiley face kills or copycat. Yes. Hey, Punkalicious. So the second autopsy that was performed by the family's request, okay, which was perfect and a great decision. It was the best decision they could have ever made. Because the coroner and the Peru PD showed nefarious acts, okay, and movement during this whole case. Through the whole case. Lack of urgency in this case. Lack of identifying Jelani's body in a timely manner. Disregarding evidence that was discovered. All these movements were seen by Peru PD and BPD and the coroner. So it was very important that Carmen got a second autopsy. It was very important. Yes, ma'am. Well, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying happened, MC. But I have a problem with that. And I'm going to explain to you why. But yes, that's what they said. That's what the Peru first coroner said. The first one. The coroner that had his body 24 days, doing God knows what to his body for 24 days. Yeah, that one. The first coroner. That's what his... Yeah, that's what he said happened to his organs. I don't believe it, though. Oh, yes, Hawkeye, it is. Hey, Signa. Very suspicious. Okay, nice to see you again, honey. Enjoy your food. Okay, so everything they've been doing has been nefarious. It's been shisty, shady. It's been, yeah, something's been wrong with the way they've been moving from the whole case from the beginning to the end. Since before he was reported missing, everything has been shady and something's not right, okay? So it was very important that Carmen got the autopsy, the second private autopsy. So the coroner had Jelani's body for 24 days, okay, while awaiting identification. What was the coroner doing to Jelani's body the entire time? He was there. That's my question. What was he doing to Jelani's body the 24 days you had him? Your excuse was you didn't have the chemical to identify him. So yet he remained in your care. Yet he remained in your care for 24 days. So what was being done to him in those 24 days? That's my question. And it's the reason why I'm asking that question. I know, Punkalicious. Yes, that's the one. I might post it on my community wall. It's been discovered at the second autopsy, all of Jelani's vital organs are missing. To me, this mimics Kendrick Johnson. Okay? This is like Kendrick Johnson all over again. Okay? How and why all of his vital organs are missing? How and why is all of Jelani's vital organs missing? How? Why are all of his vital organs missing? They want to tell us his organs was liquefied. Well, in my research, it said that the body breaks down slower in the water. Okay? So it's not faster, it's slower in the water. But when you remove the body out the water, they say the coroner has to hurry up and do the autopsy quickly once recovered from the water. Because then, after recovered from the water, the body starts to decompose rapidly. Okay? While it's in the water, it's slowly to decompose. But you have aquatic creatures that nibble. When you remove the body from the water, the body begins to start decomposing rapidly. That's why they say when you remove a body from the water, you have to immediately do an autopsy. Okay? Okay. It takes 30 more days for your organs to liquefy in the water. 30 plus days for your organs to liquefy in the water. And this is ocean water, bigger water. So the river is even less time, okay? The hell this body trying to figure out what? Exactly, twin. Exactly. And I told y'all they was going to do this. I told y'all they have to figure out with all the other evidence that points to foul play. They had to hold the body, tamper with the body to give some type of excuse of why they cannot give us a true finding of his death. Because they still have not declared it homicide, accidental, suicide. They have not declared his death. The manner. All they have told us was how his body was. That's it. Okay, that's all they told us. So anyway, so the private forensic pathologist discovered that Jelani Day had no brain, no organs, no liver, no spleen. Jelani's top and bottom teeth were missing and his jawbone was sawed out. Jelani had no eyeballs, only sockets left. His genitals were gone. Allegedly, they're saying that his genitals were flayed. They're trying to say that it was flayed by the aquatic creatures inside of the water. Okay? That's what they're trying to tell us. So this raises a lot of questions and many inconsistencies in these findings that were given to us from the public, okay? Now, we know, understand aquatic creatures can dismantle a body. We understand that. He was only in the water 10 to 12 days. Okay? So with that being said, the Peru coroner allegedly that his organs were missing due to the liquefaction, okay, of him being in the water. Well, I did my own research. Okay. And the water slows down decomposition. But as soon as you retrieve the body, you have to hurry and do the autopsy. Okay. So what I believe that they did was they sat down there and they let that boy's body decompose when they removed him from the water. That's what I believe they did. And that's basically tampering with his body. Okay, that's tampering with his body. So that's a red flag, okay? Because the research says it takes a month for the organs to liquefy in water. Jelani was only in the water 10 to 12 days. So I don't believe his organs was liquefied. I do not believe his organs were liquefied. So I asked a few videos I've done in Jelani Day's case. What is the coroner doing to his body? What was that person down there doing to him? Because I felt by the actions that they were tampering with his body, because they kept giving us the excuses of ID, not having a chemical agent. Okay, in my opinion, deliberately delaying ID to hinder the investigation. Okay, many excuses. Then they said they needed identified by dental records. And this is the kicker part that I don't understand. So y'all identified him by dental records, right? Okay, so you had his top and bottom teeth, right? Okay, so how they come up missing? How did his top and bottom teeth go missing? Why didn't the second coroner get his top and bottom teeth? You had the teeth, the first coroner. You had his top and bottom teeth because you identified him by dental records. So why are they missing? And why doesn't the private coroner have those teeth? Now, think about that for a second. The first coroner had his teeth, top and bottom. The second coroner said his top and bottom teeth are missing. They don't have them. So what happened to the teeth? Y'all don't find that strange? Y'all don't find that strange that the teeth are missing? See, there are plenty of red flags. And I told y'all that we were going to go through. There was going to be some BS. I knew it was coming. They was going to throw some BS out here so they wouldn't have to determine and leave his death undetermined. And I have no one responsible for his death. Okay? I personally believe, by everything that we finna talk about and continue to talk about, that first coroner tampered with Jelani Day's body. Okay? He had the body 24 days, giving many excuses and disrespect to Carmen. And like I said, if you have no respect for mom, you're not going to have no respect for her son that's on the autopsy table in your possession. If you don't respect mom, you don't have no respect for her son that's on that table in your possession, right? So you're going to treat that body any kind of way. Period. That's a possibility, twin. Now, let's get to what the coroner tampered with the facts. Okay? So the coroner told Carmen he removed the tibia bone. The coroner told Carmen he removed his tibia bone for DNA purposes. Why did you have to remove the tibia bone? There were other ways to collect his DNA on his body. But the coroner decided to remove the tibia. You didn't have to remove the tibia. That's why Carmen Day was confused. Why are you removing my son's tibia for DNA? You said you was identifying him by his teeth. And you didn't have a chemical agent for DNA. So why, hey, LaKendra, why are you removing his tibia bone? That does not make sense. You lack the chemical agent, so you moved to dental records, right? So why did you need to remove the tibia bone? That's something that the coroner admittedly said they removed to Carmen. He removed the tibia bone. Secondly, the first coroner identified Jelani Day by his dental records, meaning the first coroner had Jelani's teeth, top and bottom. So why and how didn't they make it to the second autopsy? Why didn't his top and bottom teeth make it to the second autopsy? The same teeth you use to identify him with dental records. The same teeth. So why didn't they make it to the second autopsy? Hey, Bethany Boo. So the teeth didn't make it. Taking tibia. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Oh, yeah. I'm sure they're asking for everything right now. And her lawyer, they going ham. Then the jawbone was sawed out. I believe he was. And I'll tell you why I think he was found naked. Like I said, they knew what they was doing. They gave the aquatic creature straight access to his nude body. But his bottom jawbone was sawed out. His jawbone completely sawed out. This is exactly what the pathologist said for the second autopsy. His teeth, he didn't receive, top and bottom, and his jawbone was sawed out. Why did you need to saw the jawbone? All the coroner had to do was make an impression of Jelani's teeth for dental records. All you had to do was make impression of the teeth for dental records. You didn't have to remove the top of the teeth. You didn't have to remove the bottom of the teeth. You didn't have to saw off his jawbone. You didn't have to do that. Like the second coroner said, it was sawed off. So we know it was a human that did it. It wasn't aquatic creatures. Someone sawed off Jelani's jawbone. Okay? So his top and bottom teeth should have made it to the second private autopsy. It didn't make it. But that's what they used to identify him in that first autopsy. His teeth didn't make it. His jawbone was sawed off. His jawbone didn't make it. All of his internal organs did not make it. Now we know that the coroner had his top and bottom teeth and they had his jawbone. We know the coroner had that because that's what they used. So you had it. You had his top and bottom teeth and you had his jawbone. It wasn't missing. You used his teeth to identify him. So again, why wasn't his teeth sent to the second pathologist that did his second autopsy? Why would you keep that? Why wouldn't you send that? This smells like a cover-up. This is foul play. Now, what I'm thinking, hang in there with me for a minute. What I think is there was trauma to his face. With trauma to his face, there's foul play. There will not be an open and shut case. It'll be a murder and a homicide. The reason why I believe they sawed off his jawbone, took his top and bottom teeth, because there was trauma to his face. And if people saw trauma, they would knew this was a homicide. This can't be an accidental death, and it can't be a suicide. This would have to be murder. So to cover up and tamper with a body, we're going to remove his top teeth, his bottom teeth, and we're going to saw off his goddamn jawbone. And that's why I think the first coroner kept his top and bottom teeth and sawed off his jawbone, leaving no evidence of what really happened to Jelani Day. Now, people may feel like, oh, that's a conspiracy theorist, but these are facts given to us from the pathologist that did the second autopsy. They identified him by his teeth, so we know they had them. We know they had his teeth because they told us they identified him with his teeth. So when the pathologist is telling us we didn't receive his teeth, somebody took them. Okay? That's common sense. Someone took the boy's teeth. Okay? So this is not a conspiracy. This is what it is. This is what's happening. This is what's missing. Okay? And to saw off his jawbone, that lets me know there was some type of trauma to his face that they did not want to be seen. Okay? They did not want it to be seen. And when performing the autopsy, you do your best to preserve what you can for a funeral, for the family. You're going to preserve what you can. This coroner tore Jelani's body apart. The aquatic creatures already did what they did, but this first coroner helped tear his body to pieces. And the question is, why? Why did you remove his teeth when all you needed to do was an impression for identification? You didn't have to take out the top and bottom teeth. You didn't have to saw off his jawbone. You didn't have to remove his tibia. And then you didn't even send it to the private pathologist. You didn't even send it. That lets me know y'all grimy as fuck. Y'all doing some grimy shit. This is a cover-up. And that tells me to do all that reconstruction of that boy's face. There was trauma to his face. Hey, Vita, there was trauma to his face. For you to do all of that, go through all that trouble to tear his face apart, where his mama cannot view him, there had to be trauma to his face. That is the only thing that makes any sense of why you would remove his top and bottom teeth and saw his damn jaw off. That's the only thing that makes sense. Nothing else fits. Nothing else. Okay, nothing. So they can't just hand us this excuse and think that we're idiots and we're not going to research and we're not going to look into it. And Jelani's organs was not liquefied. You cannot convince me. Yes, I'm regrowing them. I'm trying to, I had some of them shaved, so I'm regrowing it all back out. A full head with no shave parts. Yes, ma'am. So yeah, they said all his organs were liquefied. Yet he wasn't in the water long enough for his body to be liquefied. They wasn't going to release none of that. They wasn't going to release none of that. He wasn't under the water long enough for his organs to be liquefied. His body was pretty much still intact. So how was his organs liquefied? Yeah, the aquatic creatures nibbled and did some little damage, but his body was still there. His shell was still there. He wasn't in there 30 plus days to where you can say, okay, I can't do nothing with his organs. They're not there. He was only in there 10 days. Research, multiple research. Jelani Day in Bloomington Normal. Research, multiple research. I even had went through the horrifying sighting of looking at decomposing bodies from water. I went through all of that just to make sure what I'm reading is right. These bodies that I saw that was in water, worse water than the river, like the ocean. Okay, like in the ocean. Their bodies bloated. Of course, they got a little trauma from the animals and stuff. But their organs was not liquefied until 30 plus days. So how in a river, not an ocean, how in a river did Jelani Day's organs liquefy in 10 days? 10 days. We're not talking about 2 months. We're not talking about 1 month. We're talking about 10 days. 10 days. So the first coroner is suspicious. It needs to be looked into. Sounds like they may have been visual trauma to Jelani's face that would have been recognizable. So the coroner wanted to hide the fact. So the first coroner removed the top and bottom teeth and sawed out his jawbone after performing dental records. You use his teeth to identify him and then you remove them. It's just that simple. That's what I see. Whatever you take out of a body when you do the autopsy, you're supposed to bag it, tag it, and send it when you release the body. What you did was you released the body and you kept things like the top and bottom teeth and you tampered with this body. You didn't send what you removed. And that tells me it's some shadiness going on. Exactly, shade out. They full of it. They are full of it, but they not convincing me. They can't lie. They can't lie. It's too much research out here. It's too much out here. You cannot tell us something that's not substantiated, that does not make sense, that isn't logical. If he was in there 30 days, okay. But it was 10. 10 days. 10 days. Evidence of trauma, in my opinion, was being hidden and thrown out, in my opinion. This is a cover-up for murder. Also, I believe the coroner did something with his internal organs. That also determines trauma. So, if you want to be shady and you wanted the autopsy to go a certain way, everybody knows, well, if you don't know now, you know, organs determine how you die. Your internal organs can tell a person what happened to you. Your organs talk. Let me tell y'all something else. Your eyeballs talk too. Your eyeballs talk too. He was missing those. Your eyeballs talk too. The color. Certain things in your eyes. Like if you're strangled. Petechia. You will see that in your eyeballs. It's kind of ironic and funny that all of the ways you can determine what happened to him is missing. All of the ways. Organs, eyeballs, teeth. So if you want to hide trauma, you will remove the organs as well. Just like they did in Kendrick Johnson case. You will do that. Now, as far as his eyeballs, I just stated that. They tell you a lot, okay, about what happened to you. What happened, what your body went through, if your body went through trauma, if you were strangled, whatever it is, your eyes talk. Yes, Wanderlust. Your eyes talk. Yes, LaKendra. Your eyes talk. And he was missing both of them. Everything, all that was left was his eye sockets. Mighty suspicious. Mighty suspicious. Now, it's possible the aquatic creatures took them. But it's mighty ironic that they're completely gone. So, they could have been nibbling. They could have been nibbling, but you would think they would leave some You know, it will be something. He wasn't in there long enough. Okay? There will be some pieces. The pathologist said they're completely gone. Completely. Mom said 3 hours ago he did have eyes but was still killed. That is not what the article says. I will pull it up. That is not what the article said and it was her lawyer, and her lawyer said that in the articles, and it's multiple articles. His eyeballs was removed and was only the sockets. And I looked at past articles from 2 days ago when they stated this, and today. Yeah, I kept looking over to see if they was going to drop more information, but they didn't drop it. Okay. So if I need to, yes, I will pull up the article. But yeah, most of them say his eyeballs was completely gone. The pathologist and then the attorney second that his eyeballs was missing in all the organs. The liver, brain, spleen. Yeah. So I will look at what you pulled up. So it is possible that the aquatic creatures did their damage. Yeah, he was a hey Sherry. He was a medical student, yes, ma'am. Oh yeah, they know they in trouble, baby. They know they in trouble. They wasn't expecting that second autopsy. How can you not expect it? Nowadays, you can't trust nobody. You can't trust the sheriff department. You can't trust law enforcement. You can't trust FBI. You can't even trust the damn coroner after death. You can't trust nobody. And that's so sad to do right. You can't trust nobody to do the right thing. I don't understand. I just don't understand. But like I said, it's possible. But you would think with aquatic animals, they would leave something, pieces of something. It wouldn't be completely removed. They're supposed to be looking into it. They was asked, the attorney said they was asked to come in, but they never verified if they're going to be involved or what they're doing. We haven't heard nothing else about it. Oh, okay. You good. I will pull it up. Yes. Chicago Sun-Times is one. It's a few of them, but the Chicago Sun-Times is very descriptive. And then they did another one today. Early this morning, I looked at it, and it was posted this morning. There's a new one. It's crazy. It makes my stomach hurt. Okay. So as well as his genitals were flayed. Okay. So basically, in other words, they're trying to tell us that the aquatic creatures had their way with his genitals. Okay. That they got into the genitals. Now, for them to completely, they said his genitals was not even recognizable. So they're completely gone. So for his genitals to be completely gone, that means he went in naked. Someone put him in there naked. For the animals in the river to completely desecrate his body. So to me, this sounds like somebody know what the hell they're doing. Sounds to me like somebody that know their stuff. Because we asked, why did they remove his clothes and put it in the back of his trunk of his car? That tells me they knew what they was doing. They put him in there naked. They knew knowledge of what the river could do to you. And they took him 60 miles away from his home. So they wasn't expecting nothing left of Jelani to be found. But he was found in 10 days, thank God. Okay? So it sounds to me that he was put in nude for them to completely attack and remove his genitals. Phone is still missing. Keys still missing. And his license plate still missing. All of that's still missing. So again, eyeballs could be the river, due to the river, but you would think it would leave pieces, okay? Genitals could be the river animals as well. So it will be hard to tell, and that's what their purpose is. This is why it was done, so we can have a hard time determining if it's a homicide. See, they've done this too many times to people. So we're hip to what they do and what goes on. So 50-50 river or the coroner did someone's eyeballs to me. 50-50 with the genitals. Could been the animals and the aquatic, but they did that, so it's a 50-50. Could be the animals, could have been a tamper. That I'm unsure of. If it definitely could have been the animals in the river. The eyeballs and the genitals. The bites on his body definitely was the aquatic animals in the river. The aquatic creatures. The bites, other damage was definitely the aquatic creatures. Eyeballs, genitalia, very possible, but still ironic for him. Okay. Now, what is not the aquatic creatures? That is no possible way of the river animals is his top and bottom teeth and his jawbone sawed out and the tibia. That was all the coroner. That was not aquatic creatures. That was not aquatic creatures. Okay. Which tells me that they were deliberately tampering with his body. No, they have not announced the cause and manner of death. And this is why they did this. So they couldn't. This is so they didn't have to. But even before the autopsy, the missing phone, the missing keys, the missing license plates, the abandoned car, a different set of clothes found a mile away from where his body was, the clothes he had on in the dispensary in the trunk of the car, wallet found in another area, dropped by a guy wearing red shirt or red shorts, his lanyard found near the river. All of that points to foul play on its own without the autopsy. Didn't want to give us this bullshit and want to chalk it up to him being in the river. He still was murdered. Y'all just tried to cover it up. That's it. That's all. Because you can't explain his teeth that you had to identify him, and all of a sudden, when his body gets released to the second pathologist to do the second autopsy, they're not there. Then you sawed his jawbone and you're removing tibias. So what was the point of that? It all points to tampering with the body. So we can't determine the cause of death. Yes, somebody knows something. In the article, it states it's damn near we know for a fact that shit was murder. But somebody knows how he ended up in there, but nobody's talking right now. Nobody's talking. Maybe they're scared they're going to end up like him. Maybe. Yes, the mom offering a reward for any. I think right now it's $25,000. It might be more about right now, but I know her and her family alone donated $25,000 for any information. So I don't know if the reward is up now, but other people donating. It might be more at this time, but I know for sure $25,000. The teeth can be used for ID as well, and DNA. So again, the excuse that the coroner used to take the tibia bone puzzled Carmen, and it puzzles me too, because you had his teeth, so you didn't need to take a piece of a tibia bone. You didn't need to do that, but you did. You didn't have to saw the jawbone. And all you got to do is ask yourself, hey, Batcave, all you had to do, I don't know, Sherry. I don't know if it's a GoFundMe. All you have to do is ask yourself why. Why would someone go through all this and remove this boy's top and bottom teeth, saw off his jawbone, remove a piece of his tibia? Why would someone go through all of that? There was some type of visual trauma that they didn't want seen. And they refused to let Carmen see her son the whole entire time. After he was released, the lawyer refused to let mama see him, but they did let grandmama and son, one of his brothers, identify him. But those 24 days, they didn't allow mama to see him before he was released. And that's where I think most of this shit happened, was with that first coroner, Peru. Yes, country girl. I definitely, it's definitely a cover up. No question about it. That's no question. They shouldn't have told us they identified him by doing the records, because you told us you had his teeth. And then all of a sudden his teeth missing? How? How is that possible? How do you lose somebody's teeth? How do you saw off their jawbone? This is hindering investigation and homicide. They did all of this to cover up murder. And this, what they did was make it really hard to determine if it's a homicide. And that's what the goal was the whole entire time, in my opinion, was to make it hard to identify it as a homicide. That is the main reason. And I believe he had some serious trauma to his face for the first coroner to go through all of that, to reconstruct his mouth, to be damn near faceless. He had to have some trauma that they did not want the family to see. Because the questions that people need to be asking is, where's his top and bottom teeth? Because you had them. You used them to do his dental records. So where the hell did they go? And then why did the coroner saw off his jawbone? Why did you saw his jawbone off? Because there's no reason for that. Absolutely none. All you needed was an impression of his mouth, of his teeth. That's all you needed was that to identify him. You didn't have to take his teeth out. You didn't have to saw off his jawbone. I did my research. You didn't have to do none of that. Unless you're hiding something. He needed to be in the water 30 plus days for his inside internal organs to liquefy. He was only in there between 10 and 12 days. I do not believe his internal organs was liquefied. Not by research. And I did 2 days worth. Research that I will be posting on my community wall. And it will tell y'all how long it takes to be in that water for your organs to liquefy. Every organ, he didn't have like 1 or 2. Every organ, including eyeballs, that could tell you everything. Everything gone. How ironic is that? Everything you need to determine if this is a homicide is gone. How ironic is that? Possibly, Sherry. Someone else said that in my last live that he might have been shot in the face. Surgical. No, how? You with me, Hawkeye? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. You had his teeth, but you didn't send it with his body. You had no reason to saw off his jawbone, but you did that too. And then all of his organs, including eyeballs, is missing. He didn't have one you could salvage. Not one. I don't believe that. Not for 1 second. I believe they tampered with his body like they took his teeth and jawbone. I believe they did something with those organs. They did something with those organs. Science does not add up with what they're saying of his liquefied organs. Science says 30 plus days. Even at different temperature at the 30 plus days, his organs were liquefied in 10. Not in 10 days. Maybe 3 weeks. With hotter water, his organs could have liquefied. He was in there 10 days. Not 3 weeks. So, they tamper with his body. So, the coroner needs to be questioned. And I don't believe he's alone. I don't believe he did it on his own. I don't believe none of that. I believe he was told to do these things. I believe he was told to do these things. Nobody works alone. They work together. But the question is, do they think that we're that stupid? Why would you think that we're that dumb? We're not dumb. When all science, it's too much science out here that tells us decomposition. Yes, Wanderlust. Because I still feel like there's some way they can tell still There got to be. Because even with all of Kendrick Johnson's organs missing, they still saw blunt force trauma and hemorrhage. So maybe they need to do a third autopsy. I don't know. I hope they do. I hope they do a third autopsy. I do. I hope they do a third autopsy. Because like I said with Kendrick Johnson, even with all his organs missing, they was able at the end to still determine homicide, murder. Because they can't take everything. His body can still talk. His body can still talk. His body can still talk. You always miss something when you doing dirty, when you being shady, when you being grimy. You always miss something. You always miss something. He was still to go to the experience. And we were supposed to ignore it once they showed us. We were supposed to ignore it because he was buying weed. So what? Or CBD. So what? So that's the A-OK for someone to murder him? That means nothing. We're not looking away, turning a blind eye because he was at the dispensary. So what? He still was on his A game. He still was a grad student. He still was a good kid, gentleman, trying to be something in his life. Yes, Wendelas, bones can talk. They forgot about all of that. See, like I said, they wasn't supposed to find him. That's why they took him way out where they took him. He wasn't supposed to be found. But mama fought so hard and got his butt found. See, the goal was he wasn't supposed to be found. That's why they put him in nude. They thought that he was going to be completely dismantled, but he wasn't. He wasn't. Yes, S. Hagen. With them missing, it's harder. Yes. Yes. But it can be done. It can be done. It can be done. But yeah. So they give us this bullshit. Excuse my lingo. They give us this so they can send us something next. The next thing they're going to try to hand us is this is why we're going to close it as undetermined. Because we can't determine the cause of death because of the conditions of the body. Because his organs was randomly gone. They was liquefied in 10 days. When science says 30 plus. So we can't determine it. But they do this so they could just sell us this and we okay and supposed to believe it. No. No. Not so. I don't believe it. What about Dr. G or Dr. Phil? Nobody cares about the week. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk to y'all about today. I hit on it a little bit in my live yesterday, but I hit on it. I needed to do a separate, completely different live on it to break down why. Okay, because I want y'all to understand why. It's not just because, it's reasons behind why. Because you can't logically tell me the teeth you used to identify him evaporated into thin air. Somebody has it. Somebody has his teeth. And the coroner can't tell us you had a logical reason to saw off his jawbone. You can't tell us you had a logical reason. You're supposed to preserve the body as much as you can. You did more damage to his body. And people do that when they're trying to cover up something that you don't want seen. And that's what was done here. I could bet my life on it. I'll bet my life on it. Every vital organ. In 10 days. That's not possible with the science that y'all have. That's not possible. Unless someone tampered. That's the only other option. Someone tampered with the body. That's the only other option. There is no other option. No other option. That's BS with respect. Oh, it is. Oh, it's definitely BS. Every vital organ plus eyeballs. Then you move with top and bottom teeth. You left nothing. But, like they said in the chat, bones talk. Skin talks. Yes, country girl. He needs to be investigated. And I was thinking earlier, what they need to start doing is having a camera when they're performing autopsies. Because more and more, every year, there's more crooked, shady coroners doing autopsies on people. And that Professor LaKendra, yes. Because her whole involvement is suspicious. Her involvement alone is suspicious. Like she had some type of personal business going on with Jelani. But a camera definitely needs to be put in there when they're performing autopsies on people's loved ones, on humans. They need to have someone in there. They need to have a camera. Because this is not the first, this is not the last time we've heard about a coroner not sending things that they removed with the body that they release. It's not the first time and it's not the last. And it's happening more and more. So, I know this is uncomfortable. I know I don't like talking about it, but at the end of the day, this is what they gave us. And I can't imagine what the family feel like. I can imagine the grandmama and the brother that looked at him. They have got to be on the verge of a breakdown. Because of what they described, I would be ready to kill everybody. I would be ready to kill everybody if I had to look at one of my children like it. Yeah, I'd be proud to wear that jumpsuit. Yes, I would. Because there's no way. No way. But prayers to them. They are strong. They are strong. They are strong. But something happened. Someone put him in that river. Someone know why and how he got there. He did not do this to himself. And they didn't even have to tell us that he went in there naked. We know. And now we have more evidence too to answer our own question. Well, they ain't got to tell us. Because, okay, don't forget there was a clothes a mile away from his body where it was found. And then it was some more clothes that he had on in the dispensary in the trunk. Okay? So, he was in there naked. Somebody put him in there naked. And not only was we thinking that, because all his clothes was gone, was in the car, on the ground, a mile away from where he was found. So common sense tells us he was naked, found naked. But not only did common sense tell us, you told us that his genitals was flayed. So with his genitals being flayed, that lets us know, yeah, he was in there naked. Completely in there naked. Oh, thank you. Even if you are, hey, helpful. Even if you're in college, you should not be able to. Yeah, but I think you're right. You know, but people are grown. You even have some college teachers that sleep with college students. You know how they go. Everybody grown, they do their own thing. But it seems like they had another type of relationship. Like they was cool outside of school. Or like they had something else going on. Some type of other business, maybe. But they had connections for some other reason. And for his phone to be missing, they probably deleted all of that. But I'm trying to think if you could still go to his carrier and with a subpoena and be able to subpoena all his phone activity without his phone. But I'm sure they not doing that because they don't care. Because we don't want this to be a homicide. We want to hurry up and close this case because we don't care. I think so too, Sherry. Yeah, you would think they would have been done that. They should have been had that information. They should know everybody he had contact with by now. They can still do it with his phone being stolen. But I'm sure they probably didn't even do that because they don't care. That's crazy. But yeah, so I'm gonna get ready to get up off here so I can clear my brain. Because this makes me, feel some type of way of how they did him. And for real? I'm gonna look into that. But it will have to be someone for it to be, because someone else brought up, I think Twin brought up organ harvesting. It would have, his organs, with him being thrown in there and dead for 10 days, his organs was no good. Right. I hear what y'all saying, but listen, he was in the water for 10 days. His organs was no good. They wasn't viable. Couldn't nobody do nothing with those organs. So they couldn't give those organs to nobody. Y'all see what I'm saying? His organs was already, they have to be, they're only viable a certain amount of time. They're only viable a certain amount of time. So if he's in that water for 10 days, his organs was gone. I don't think that was taken before he went in. They wouldn't say. I don't think that was taken before he went in. That's a good theory, but because that means they would have to cut up and listen to all the organs that's gone. Listen to all the organs that's gone. He would have to been cut completely down to take all of this, and they would have to cut and take his brain. They would have to do all of that. All of that wasn't cut open. Only this, he was faceless, meaning like he was half faceless. This was gone. Right. The first coroner didn't say nothing was missing, but that person is shady. I wouldn't trust nothing they say anyway. The second coroner said when their body was released to them, that's when they gave us that the organs was liquefied. But I don't think they was liquefied. I think they was thrown away. They was discarded. His mother believes there's no possibility of organ. I'm telling you, I know that's not. I know for like I'm like 90% sure it was not organ harvested. And the reason why is what I just gave y'all. His organs was dead. There was no use to nobody. He was dead and gone in that water. Could nobody use those organs? Nobody could use those organs. Nobody. I believe they was thrown away. Okay? Taken out, thrown away, so they could not determine his cause of death. That is likely in this situation. Now, if he was taken somewhere unconscious and they did because his body would have to at least be, you need medical equipment to keep the body pumping, the blood pumping, the organs pumping. You need all of that. Okay? You need to have him someplace secure with him attached to things for all his organs to be pumping, for you to remove them, to be able to take them and transport them in a timely manner to someone else to get them put inside of them. That's the only way it would have worked. Yeah, that didn't happen. I don't think so. I think his organs was removed by the autopsy. I think his organ was still in him. And that's why they had the body 24 days. Yes, a fellow medical student would know how to do all that. Yeah, right. But he still had his organs when the first coroner had him. Nothing didn't start coming up missing until after he got his first autopsy. Now, if they would have said his organs were missing before then okay. But you can't just, it's just a lot to go with it. You have a certain amount of time to put them in the next person's body. You have to keep Jelani alive for a certain amount of time for the organs to even be viable. It was a lot. It's a lot. But I get what y'all saying. I mean, organ harvesting is real. And I've watched movies on it. And how the people do it? They have a medical staff. They have the person they're killing and the person they give it to it right there. That's how quick you have to. That's how immediate you have to work to get that organ to the next person. Or it's no use. Not viable. But yeah, I think he had his organs. I hope that first coin is under investigation. Oh, yep, and that's true. They have to be a match. And that sucks because he was going to give his dad bone marrow. So fucking sad. Yes, very sad. It had to be a match. Yes, hope that. Yeah, I hope he's under investigation too, because I'm telling you, he had the teeth, and you top and bottom teeth, and you saw off the jawbone, and you took a piece of his tibia, but you didn't send it with the body. That tells you everything right there. That tells you everything right there. That it was the coroner that tampered with the body. The coroner tampered with the body. And I think a lot of this is to cover up from the murder. Yep. It's still missing. Some of his stuff is still missing, S. Hagen. They're trying their best to cover up for murder, but they still can't explain where his belongings is. They still can't explain that. So no matter what they do to try to hinder the investigation, no matter what they do to try to tell us this is an accident or suicide, they can't. Because none of the evidence points to it. Okay, Sherry P. None of the evidence points to that. People, somebody still has his belongings. But thank y'all for stopping in. I love y'all very, very much. I know this was hard. I know this was graphic. Oh yeah, they better come up with something. Yeah. They better come up with something. Because we giving that shit back to them. What they gave us, we handing it right back. This is bullshit. Y'all need to come with something else. Come with something else. We handing it right back. But yeah, so I love y'all. Thank y'all for stopping in. This is unacceptable. We're not accepting that his organs was liquefied. We're not accepting that his top and bottom teeth that you just had in your possession are missing. We're not accepting that. We're not accepting you sawing off his jawbone. We're not accepting it. We're not. We're not. Definitely, Brooke. I agree. It's okay. Yeah, I agree. Yep. We talked, yep. The professor definitely does need to be looked into. Her and the coroner and whoever else that was overly involved before mom was even involved definitely needs to be looked at. Hey, Nicolette. That name sounds familiar. I wonder, did I go to school with her? Let me see what she looks like. No, she okay. Like that name's like somebody I went to high school with. But yeah, so thank y'all. I love y'all, and I will be back tomorrow. We got to talk a little bit. We got to talk about somewhere else tomorrow. About somewhere else tomorrow, and what's going on with that situation, because it's a lot going on with that. Y'all know Don with his shit, y'all. We already know. We know how he do. So we're gonna deal with that tomorrow. It might be, but I know they did something. I know they discarded it. Whatever they did, they threw them out. They discarded it. But that's okay. That's okay, because God see and know everything. And something's gonna come out. Every time you try to do the devil's work, you leave something, you forget something, you leave something behind. It always happens. Don't forget the Kendrick Johnson case. When they took all of his organs, we still would determine that was a homicide. So don't give up hope. Do not give up hope. Maybe it may take 2 or 3 more autopsies. I don't know. But there are still ways to determine by bones, by skin. There are more ways to talk about, to determine, if his cause of death. You're welcome, Hawkeye. Thank you, everybody. I love you guys. For those just coming in, y'all go back to the replay. I'm going to get off, so it won't be so long like the last live. It was like 3 hours. I'm sorry. So I'm going to get off, so y'all won't have to watch no long-ass live. But I love y'all, and I will see y'all tomorrow. He was too handsome. Too not having a girl. Well, he probably dipped and dabbled, but he didn't settle down. He was serious about his school. He was serious. And that's good. That's good. He was handsome. He was a handsome young man. All right. Love y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Peace. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, moderators.